It is strangely easy to drop thousands of dollars on a new smartphone, designer outfit, or wedding. We swipe our cards without a second thought. But the moment we are asked to give our wealth away, a deep psychological resistance kicks in. We freeze, we calculate, we hesitate. Many people strictly observe their daily prayers and fast for an entire month, yet remain dangerously negligent regarding the obligations attached to their bank accounts. The modern mindset treats giving away money as a favor, an optional act of charity to be performed only when we finally feel financially secure and ready to part with our cash. Islam introduces a sharp counterclaim. Holding on to specific amounts of excess wealth goes beyond personal stinginess. It is the active hoarding of someone else's property. The Quran delivers a severe warning for those who amass gold and silver and refuse to distribute the mandated share. The text describes an afterlife scenario where that exact hoarded wealth is heated in hellfire and used to brand the hoarder's forehead, sides, and back. The very money they saved for security becomes the instrument of their punishment. This system, known as Zakat, serves as a non-negotiable debt upon the wealthy and a mandatory right belonging to the poor. The literal translation of the word Zakat is purity and growth. Under this framework, a person's entire net worth is considered impure until a specific, calculated portion is extracted and given away. This gauge shows a rising level of wealth crossing a strict horizontal threshold line. That line represents the nisab, the exact mathematical boundary that separates basic survival from taxable excess. If your wealth crosses this line, you owe the debt. The primary historical metric for this threshold is holding the equivalent of 7.5 tolas of gold, or 52.5 tolas of silver for one full lunar year. Today, this tax applies to modern assets, cash in your wallet, savings in your bank account, business inventory, and investment properties meant for sale. However, the system completely exempts your immediate survival needs. The primary home you live in, your personal vehicle, your clothes, and your necessary furniture are untouched by this requirement. By isolating these exemptions, the nisab threshold is mathematically engineered to target only stagnant, hoarded wealth. It ensures the middle class isn't penalized, and basic human survival is never taxed. Look at this solid block of eligible wealth. The exact rate of extraction is a tiny sliver, exactly 2.5%. This small percentage is then legally required to be distributed to strictly defined categories: the destitute, stranded travelers, orphans, and those crushed by overwhelming debt. There are also strict rules on who cannot receive this money. You are explicitly forbidden from giving zakat to immediate family, meaning your parents, children, or spouse, and you cannot give it to anyone who is already wealthy. The logic here is highly deliberate. If you could give this money to your own children or parents, the wealth would simply circulate within a single family unit. These restrictions force money out of private silos and inject it directly into the broader community. Secular charity often relies on random bursts of goodwill or localized fundraising campaigns, which can leave major gaps in coverage. Zakat relies on a fixed, predictable mathematical formula. The strict rules of extraction and distribution make Zakat a divine economic engine designed to systematically dismantle poverty and ensure no one goes hungry. But the physical transfer of wealth is only half the equation. The Islamic etiquette for executing this transaction demands absolute discretion. The ideal standard is to give so quietly that your left hand does not know what your right hand has given. If handing over this money was an ego-boosting favor, publicizing it would be standard practice. But as a mandatory debt, secrecy strips away the giver's pride and protects the dignity of the person receiving it. In this system, the poor are not beggars relying on the mercy of the wealthy. The Creator placed the poor's property inside a wealthier person's account as a test of integrity. By removing the savior complex from the person holding the wealth, the system neutralizes social resentment. It builds empathy, lowers hostility, and bridges the emotional gap between economic classes. This attitude was deeply ingrained in the early generations of Muslims. Leaders like Abu Bakr and Uthman routinely liquidated massive portions of their personal assets, viewing worldly wealth as entirely temporary and secondary to their standing in the afterlife. The physical assets we obsess over, our houses, cars, and checking accounts, stop at the grave. They cannot follow us, but the genuine, heartfelt prayers of a person whose divine rights you fulfilled will remain, serving as light long after the money is gone. So do not let psychological resistance hold you back. Calculate your wealth objectively, purify what you own, and immediately return the right to its rightful owner.